Hello and welcome back. We're just going to have a quick look over this set, the R3D. I know somebody in the comments mentioned recently that they would quite like to have a look over it. And I've had it for a little while. It's not in perfect condition, but since I got it, I haven't really done anything with it. You see, we've got quite a worn label on the top of the box there. I've already taken the top of the box off the rest, so we can have a look over it. There we go. So we've got some sort of corrugated cardboard there. You can see impressions of the things underneath it, or maybe where this card has been in a different way on a different occasion. So we'll just have another quick look over the edge of this box, because I think it's quite interesting. So we've got lots of sellotape and the obligatory rusty staples there. Another sticker down there. You can see where tape has been peeled away from there and left the cardboard that little bit brighter. So very, very mucky in appearance. So let's just have a quick glance. Let's see if I can get this round to the other side. And this side of the box hasn't fared so well. See part of the sticker missing there. So I imagine these boxes of this size could be used for a number of other sets, and quite a lot of tape has been applied to the side of it there. So it's holding up, and I think it's just brown, so not brown, grey cardboard on the other side. And see somebody's had an attempt at fixing the box in the past there. So we'll just leave that to one side carefully. But terrific image. I mean, these really are tremendous, although possibly doesn't represent everything that was within this set. So I think this set came along in 1958. We'll have a glance at the catalogue in a moment. I think it was preceded by the RD and the RDX. Both had a different variation of a battery box and a different battery controller perhaps than the one present in this. And this particular set has the Series 3. I'll get the words out, Series 3 track in it, of course. So let's have a look here. We haven't got complete paperwork, so we've got a servicing scheme booklet that came along with this set when I got it. We'll just have a quick glance through there. So what have we got here? We seem to have come to Lancashire there. So let's have a quick look at that. So we've got some Ashton model supplies there. 201 Old Street. I don't know, can I get in a little bit tighter and maintain focus? Possibly. Let me zoom in a little bit. Let's just come back a little bit with the camera here. And then let's have a look further down here. We've got one in Bolton. Is that Harold Windet? And is that Bradshaw Gate? 84 Bradshaw Gate. We'll have a little bit further look down. There we go, an Oldham look. Highways Baby Carriages, Oldham Limited. Is that 11 Mumps? So some wonderful names. Let's just have a look over here. We've got one in the Isle of Wight there, Frank Morgan. So they really were all over the place. Down in Essex. Let's have a quick look at one of the other pages, see if we can go a little bit further afield than the UK. So what have we got here? Overseas service dealers. We've got a whole list of names and countries and destinations there, haven't we? There's an interesting bit of paper I wasn't expecting to see. I haven't seen that before. We'll come back and have a look at that there. So what else have we got here? Another group of names here. So they really were represented all over the planet, weren't they? Let's just see if we can go and see that other piece of interesting paper here. Let's see what's on there. Hand this to your model shop or newsagent. So is that a subscription or an order for the railway model? I don't know whether that opens out or whether that's a single sheet. So monthly features, Railway of the Month, Do-It-Yourself articles, Junior Modeller, Layout Plans, the Advice Bureau, New Special, Prototype Features. So I wonder whether that was just thrown in there. So I was expecting to find a few more pages in this book. I'm not sure how many pages it was supposed to have. So what are we on? Page 8 there. And what do we go to? 11. No, I don't think there's any pages missing. It's just a much thinner variation of the booklet than I was expecting. And page 12 on the back there. Again, some of those names do seem quite far away from where I'm currently standing. So I'll pop that to one side. And it's always nice to see those things. I'm just going to zoom out again so we can get a greater sort of angle of view of the set. And if I remove this very soft cardboard, let's just have a look at that. I'll just quickly have a look at the other side and you can see the impression where it's been sitting in a box for all these years of various items in there. So pop that away. Makes your eyes go funny looking at that moving across camera. So there is the set. That's pretty much as it came to me. The track works in fairly poor condition. You can see some significant rust creeping in here. We've got the lovely R59 262 tank loco. I don't think I'll be able to sort of pinch that out of here because there's a bit of a curl on the top of this tray here, but the locomotive's in quite nice condition. I remember from looking at it when I got it, the cylinder blocks have been repaired in the past, although they seem to be in the right position. When you take the top off, there is evidence of glue, and I think the motion bracket here is potentially, it's got a crack in it, but it seems to be holding everything in place, and it has these lovely plain connection rods. I really like those. I think I prefer those over the later fluted ones. And then we've got the United Dairies van. I think the earlier sets that I mentioned, the RD and the RDX perhaps, may have had a Shell BP tank wagon rather than the milk tanker here. And as I remember, I think one of the stays is missing the end on the other side there, and perhaps that this can I get that one out? Is it hooked in? Has that got a chip out of one corner? For some reason I remember that having a chip out of the one corner, but maybe I'm thinking of a different set. So let's pop that back down there. So it is quite a lovely thing. I think it was referred to often as a large goods set. So we've got the little badge here, lapel badge, which could have been worn on your blazer. Power clip floating around in the box. We do have some oil. I don't know whether it has oil still within the packaging. Let's see if we can have a look in there. There we go. Yeah, there definitely seems to be oil there, and it seems to be sealed. It's always nice to have those in place. And we've got the battery controller here, so you would require a number of batteries attached to this in order to supply power. Again, that's securely in there, and I don't think I can pinch that out. I don't think we really need to see on the underside contact of that. And there's a piece of information here which would have been attached possibly to the locomotive, with really good advice there. Avoid over oiling. It's always tempting to keep putting more oil on to get things to run smoother, but I think often the case is the absolute minimum gives you what you need, and then if you need more later to re-oil at a later date, when the oil has sort of worn away or dissipated, to avoid that sort of sticky gunge that can build up again. Can I get that one out of there? Yeah, there we go. So we've got that bolster bag, and there the catalogue number of that I can't remember. It's still got all of its pins or stays present there. Let's have a quick look at the other side of that. So it's in quite nice condition. But I think what I'll do is I'll get all these items on the bench and we'll have a look at them. So I think, as is often the case with these items which have been in boxes for a long time, yeah, these wheels are absolutely stuck together. The over-oiling I was talking about can lead to these, the wheels becoming very stuck, or sticky is another word I'm looking for here. If you just look at that, so there's definitely a lot of fluff and so on there, but these wheels don't run. They're absolutely seized together, so the idea is one of those runs free on the axle and one of them spins with the axle. There's a little bit of open and close movement on those to allow for better movement around the track. Yeah, so I think some work's going to be needed with that, otherwise there's just going to be far too much friction running around the rails. Quite a lovely wagon that's a really nice shade of grey, that, isn't it? Let's see if we can come back a little bit more. before I lose the shot altogether. I wonder whether I can just get out this milk tank. I have an idea that's hooked in. There we go, let's see, I think, have we got, yeah, there we go. I thought that one had a piece missing. So I had meant to see if I could find another base for that tank wagon to see if we can mend that, but as these things happen, you buy them and then you just put them away and never end up using them. It's just until the day you want them. Again, these, yeah, they're really, really sticky. So definitely a bit of a clean up on these. So we'll get that all sorted out later on. So let's just back out of here a little bit and have a look over the layout. So it's quite some time since I last got the camera out and made a video. So progress has been made with things. It's very slow. I had very limited time available. Engine shed is stood back in. All the track works set up, tested, and sort of working. But I need to sort of pin these down. But because they're on the elevated level a bit, I'm hoping to get some long pins. The track screws won't go through and into the base. So that's a job for this afternoon as well. But in general, I think we'll just have a bit of a tidy up on here this afternoon, and we'll get that R59 tank locomotive on the bench, and we'll get it running. We'll have a look at it running around the rails. That's in, and it's not tested in situ, but I've had that on the bench working earlier this week. Works perfectly. Mail coach works. The solenoid works nice and healthy. Makes a lovely sound. So there we go, the Hornby 00 mail coach. But what I haven't managed to do is test it sort of running into position and picking up the coaches, because we still haven't got track all hooked up all the way around. So the 00 track really isn't sort of fit for running at the moment. It's sort of unconnected. And I've just been testing this. All of this point work now works, and it's wired up electrically. All the points through, they're all isolated correctly. I've lost a siding in there. I had a siding in there. I think I had the crane standing on it, and for the complexity of keeping it in there and the usefulness of it, I just decided to take it out. And it's one less point, and it didn't really serve a lot. So a great deal of purpose really. So turntable's all hooked up as well. The wiring's correct to get the functionality out of it. And this lot is largely as we left it before. But as you can see, things are just sort of stacking up. So the attention has all been just in this area over the last sort of weeks or so. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with the progress, although it doesn't look like much has happened. Well, buildings have gone away as well, so the next work along here is get that crossover in there, get this track sorted out, going down here, both the Series 3 and the 00 down there, and then the final bit is just installing that return loop, get that all set up. Whilst it does work, it's not pinned down at all at the moment, so some final sort of jiggling around with that, and it will introduce some electrically operated points in there, I think. But yeah, it's plenty going on. Again, all a mess here. Get that train we were playing with before in the last video is still sitting there. I don't think it's actually moved since the last video I shot, which has got to be getting on for 10, 14 days or possibly more. Let's have a quick glance at this 58 catalogue. We'll not go all the way through it, but let's just have a glance at the set. Let's see if we can open that up. Lovely cover. Somebody has scribbled on it. So there is the set as it appeared in this year. So we've got the R3D, and we've got the great locomotive there. Lovely big images on the page in here. I know we can see those items. And that's sort of a greeny coloured well wagon there, isn't it? So I think mine is sort of a dark bluey grey. Let's just grab that again. This is quite a nice shade of bluey grey, that. It's not quite blue and it's not quite grey. But quite a nice thing. Let's pop that down there. I just pulled out the price list which comes with this as well. We'll see if we can get the set. So if I can get in a bit closer, let's zoom in a little bit and let's improve the view. There we go. So R3D, good set. steam, I think, 95 shillings there. And this is a date on the price list, 1st of January 1958. So I think I'll get those things on the bench, we'll get tidied up and we'll come back to this and have a look at the items a bit later on. So there is the chassis on the rolling rod. If I give that some power, you see it's not getting any pickup really from these wheels. It will sort of go if we encourage it, so there's not a lot getting through, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of work on that. Let's just take the clips off there. There we go. Let's put power directly to the brushes, as it were, and we'll have a quick look and see if the motor runs. There we go. So fine, I'll just put a little bit of power on there. We should see if the motor's... Yeah, so I think we've just got a lot of poor pickup, so I think there's definitely some promise there. So I'll take those clips off there and we'll stop fiddling with that. Let's put that over there. And I think what we'll do is we'll just turn off the power in case we have a short circuit. There we go. So what I thought was going to be later in the day has turned out into the following evening. So quite a few things I got done on the railway. I did get the engine shed sorted out. We'll have a look in a moment. Let's just have a quick look, a closer look over this chassis. Let's just take it off there and have a look over that. So it's got that plastic base on. Later versions of this model had that sort of fiberboard base on. You can see the state of those wheels there. No wonder there's no power getting through. And I bet those axles are all sort of sticky and grimy as well. So we'll do our best to clean that up. The motor looks quite nice. As you saw there, it does tear away when you put power directly to it. And there's that cylinder block repair. Looks like some sort of glue holding that together. And maybe that's run into a station. Let's have a look there. Is it down there? Yeah, you can see there. So maybe that's had a collision with something in the past. But I think we're going to be in good shape with that when we get that all cleaned up. I'll probably pop that motor in the magnetizer as well. Let me just put that to one side. Let's put that over here. So we'll just pop it on the 3-rail track. Nothing's going to happen. There's no power on here at the moment. Let's just swing back around here. So have a quick look at the chassis, the bodywork. So it's in fairly tidy condition. There's a little bit of loss of decal. I think that's probably to be expected with a model of this age. So it looks pretty good. Have a look down the inside there. Yeah, we do have triang now, but I've got it upside down as usual. So let's just turn that around. Let's grab that by the safety valves. Hopefully they won't fall out. So it's definitely seen a bit of life. It's pretty good. Not too many bad marks on it, just those little bits of loss to the linings. So it's quite a lovely thing. Now let's have a look in there. So we've got triang, an R59, and we've got made in England there. So a little bit of paint loss on the bottom of that buffer beam at the back. Or I don't know whether there should have been red paint at the bottom of the buffer beam anyway. Maybe that's just overpaint. But yeah, I think that's going to be quite a lovely runner once we get that up and clean. So let's just pop that over there for now for safekeeping. I did go ahead and get all of the wheels out of these. They were very, very sticky. I don't know whether we can see that. If I just put my finger on that axle, let's see. Yeah, you see how sticky that is. So the wheels are just covered in this sort of grime and stickiness. It's yeah. So several years of oiling and it just sort of spreads and eventually turns into glue, I think. So we'll reduce the friction a little when we clean those up. So again, we had a quick look over those before. So I think I'll get those all back together. I'm going to clean up these wheels overnight, and we'll have them all back on the railway, and we'll get a bit of a run with them. I've got all the wagons prepared now. We're definitely into the following day. so it's taken a bit longer to get done than I thought. I've got the chassis on the tracks here. Let's give that a little bit of power. So it's just had a bit of a clean up as we looked at, or I mentioned I was going to remagnetise it. I gave that a little bit of a go. Light oiling, light cleaning. I haven't over cleaned it, so let's give that some power. See if we can keep up with that. And let's see if we can bring that backwards. So I love that valve gear, it really is quite nice. Let's take that off into the distance a little. And then we'll bring that back again. You can see I've got the tracks in the engine shed there. That also happened yesterday afternoon. And I've come across another item I want to change, which I hadn't realised. Let's just bring that gently to a stop there. Let's see if we can just give that one more go backwards. Makes a lovely noise. I'm expecting a little bit more sort of echoey or growly when we get the top back on. Yeah, so let's leave that there. I'm going to rotate the camera on the gimbal here. Let's go that way around. So yeah, got all the tracks back down. I mentioned I was going to pin the extra cork under them just to raise the height a little, and I'd indicated that I'd got all that point working, electrically working, but the rail after the point on the inside line, I've since realised in playing with it yesterday that there's such a bend in it, or more of a bend than I had thought. I'd got it all looking flat, but in sort of practice it's sort of annoying, so that's got to change. So perhaps this afternoon we'll get that done. So I'm quite pleased with all of this now. It's all quite working. There's a couple of switches need to go in for these two lines here for the isolating tracks there. That one's done, and the switch work has all been done for the turntable to make it work from various directions. Got a few of these little switches there, little micro switches hanging down there. So eventually we'll get a nice board and get those all mounted up, so it's a bit more neat and tidy. Let's have a quick glance at these wagons. So we've got the bogie bolster wagon here. So I think that's sorry, I'm not looking in the right direction there. I think that's R110. And that was available 53 to 66. I think it did get the Mark III couplings. If we just put this down and have a look at it, you can see it's definitely made an improvement on the wheels. Definitely well worth the effort there. So I don't know whether you can see those. They're now running quite smoothly. I've got all of that stickiness off there. Let's see if we can just go in a little bit tighter there. I mean, these wheels, they're not 100% round, so they're never going to be as smooth as contemporary models. So look at that, that's running quite nice and smooth there. And we've got Triang's name on the bottom there. And I think is R212, is that this wagon? Was it sold with a log load perhaps? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, lovely thing. Let's pop that on the rails. So I've given these a very light oil just on the ends of the axle boxes here. So I'm not wanting to bathe them in oil. So we've got the well wagon here, and this gorgeous shade of grey, or is it blue? I'm undecided, or grey blue. So well wagon R118 available 55 to 67-ish perhaps. So again, all nicely cleaned up. Look along the bottom there. Let's get that the other way around. So it's seen a bit of action in its time. And now we've got R113 and another number below. I'm unfamiliar with that one. I'm wondering whether that is with it sold. Well, we're losing focus there. Sold with an additional load, perhaps, or there was a transcontinental version that didn't didn't have the buffers at one stage, so for the TC range. So let's have a look along here. Yeah, I've got one of these in bright orange as well somewhere. It's a terrific colour. So I have to dig that out. That's definitely in need of a clean as well. So we'll just grab the milk tank wagon. So I couldn't find a spare sort of cradle for that tank to sit in. This is R15 long running wagon. I think variations of this up into the 70s. I think this probably came along about 1955, 56, and various changes to it and the way it was produced over the years, and the way the decals were put on it. But quite a lovely thing. And if we look closely, there is writing along the top of that stay there, although I can't quite read that. Let's see if we can get that a little bit lower there, so we can see some model numbers on the edge there. Oh, whoops. Let's put that down there. So I was looking in the camera, not looking where my hand was going, so let's get that down there and just get some reflection on there. So that's possibly a list of the model numbers which this that cradle was used to hold the tank. Obviously it's produced in a variety of different colours. Let's see if we can get that to show on that side as well. So there, does that say made in England across the top of there? Quite a lovely thing. So let's pop that on. Let's move this forward, I think, because I can't quite reach over there. Let's give this a little power. There we go, should be able to reach the tail end of that train now. So we'll pop that on there. Lovely noise. Quite a solid feel. They've got these metal bases, these little wagons. And then let's track back over to this van now. I can't remember the running date to this. I should have written these down. So I think this is R16, very long running model. I think it was sort of possibly changed shape a little in 1967. It became a sort of a long wheelbase item. So yeah, there's a huge benefit from taking these wheels out and cleaning them now. So we've got one free running and one with the axle. Very pretty thing. Slightly earlier ones had that clip-on running board down the side of it. Let's pop that on there. So a little bit of I don't know what you'd call it. The metal has begun to become affected. It's begun going white there, slightly powdery on the surface. I've just wiped that away. So hopefully that's not going to progress too much. There we go. Slightly hesitant coupling there. I think we're all on there. Let's widen this out a little, and we'll see if we can give that the once around from this side. And then I think what we'll do is we'll go the other side, get the top back on, and then perhaps give it a different route around the railway. Let's see if they all stay coupled up. And off they go. I don't think I've left any hazards for it as it goes round. Let's see if we can go a little bit higher. There's a lot of mess on the floor down there. But if I tidy up too much, I only have to get everything out again, because there's so many things keep going on. There we go. Just bring that gently to a stop, so no phantom uncouplings. Let's just have a look down here. We're all still together. So I haven't gone for that little trick of putting those little hoops of drinking straw on there yet. But hopefully we'll get away with it. Let's just do the once round backwards. Let's see how we do with this lot backwards. Let's see if we can go a little bit higher. Oh, I think we've got a slight derailment there, so I think we'll leave that there. I'll jump the other side, we'll see what's occurred there. It looks like the well wagon. Let's go a little bit closer here. I think the well wagon has jumped the rails there as it's come around the corner. There's the derailment, so we'll get that back on the rails. We'll just see where that came off or why. Is it just bad luck? These things happen, of course, but we do have a very old set of wheels and definitely some very, very old track. So let's see if it was that point that it happened that I couldn't quite see from where I was standing. Let's roll that forwards again. I think I'm just going to widen this and we'll get more in shot. There we go. Let's roll it a little bit further forward. Definitely turning the wrong way there. So it seemed all good to that point. Not looking too bad this time. Dare we do it the one more time, I think, and then we'll get the top back on this. I'm dying to see it with the top back on. Yeah, that's me slowing that down a little there. Let's speed that back up again. Being a little overly cautious. Yeah, so we'll put that there and we'll get the top back on there in a moment. Gonna have to cut away for that. We had a good look over the top before. Let's just have a quick look at the Hornby double over here. So there's those tracks. So that's all sort of pinned down. So that's all ready for action. Some basic colour coding going on here. So stuff going on there. But it's not sort of in running condition there. So we've got some switches here, colour coded. This will develop over time. And I've got some point switches here. Where have I put them? There we go. So what we've got there. So we've got number 10. See if I can throw this in the correct direction. There we go. Let's give that a roll through that tank locomotive, a roll through there. Have to stop there. I'm about to run out of track. Yeah, and it doesn't go any further there, so we'll go back the other direction. Once more. A little bit of a hesitation in there. So let's just switch those again. So we'll close number 11. And we'll close number 10, which is that one. So it's this piece of track here. There's a depression in the rail there, which I hadn't thought was quite so bad when I was preparing the track, but it turns out to be a great deal worse than I thought, and I don't think I can keep that. Let's give that a go. I picked up the wrong controller here. Let's do that again. Yeah, we don't like that. Let's give that another go. So I'll get that changed this afternoon, I think. I'm not sure now whether we like this point or not. Might need a little bit more work on it, but this rail here has definitely got some depression going on there that sitting on the bench didn't seem quite so bad. But let's see if we can hold a straight edge to that. Don't know whether you can see that. There's definitely a bit of a depression in that rail there. So yeah, we'll get that changed, but that's part of the testing process. We put these things in, test it with as many items as we can, and see what happens. But I'm just going to cut away from here now, and we'll get the top back on this Triang tank locomotive. So there is the set, top back on the chassis and everything, just running around the railway. Definitely a different sound with the top on. And I think we'll just bring that to a stop just before this next set of points around here. We'll just stop that there. I'm going to rotate the camera a little. So I was really pleased to get this set. This is one of the items my brother and I were given back in the 70s, the R3D set, and it was one I've been on the lookout for quite some time. So I was really pleased to get it. So let's just have a look around here, see if there are any dangers set up for it, and we'll just we'll bring it back onto here. Let's give that a go. See how those wagons with all those dodgy wheels do with the points. So let's go around for that and give this a little bit of power. Let's step back a little. Over the diamond. There we go. So I'm not sure we should risk sending that backwards over that lot. There isn't a lot of weight on these wagons, although perhaps we should just give it a go. The locomotive definitely makes a different sound in the opposite direction. Yeah, that's pretty well behaved. I think what we should probably do now, just to finish off perhaps, is just get this out onto the other line. Let's, if I run back through here, and we can do that one there and there. We can switch that to the outside line, and we'll swap controllers. Let's come back around there. See how it does with the crossover. Let's stop that there, and we'll attend to the points. There we go. And I think what we'll do, we'll swap controllers. So let's go from here to here. And that wants to be handheld. We'll track 1 on. So have I got enough space to come around the side of that Continental Guards wagon? Let's have a look. Just is the answer to that. And have I got enough space just to clear the front end of the Continental tank? Just. A little bit of a wobble going on that bogie bolster there, turning the controller the wrong way now. And we'll run it through the station. there we go. I think that's probably it for this week. And again, that's just playing with trains, and you've seen the progress I've made with the other bits of track work. It is a process of trial and error, a lot of it. As I say, the track work isn't all new, so it is working with what is available. But I'm sure we're going to get some good running and great fun out of it in the long run. Thanks again. Goodbye now.